Hi, everybody. It's Olivia Scott with another edition of Freedom at the Maxwell Chat. When I was growing up, I started my career in advertising in 1995. I'm really aging myself, but that's when I started my career. And I remember my mother remarking at that time, we lived in Memphis, and she says, I am so proud of you. I cannot imagine having a career in advertising. It's beyond my wildest dreams. She explained to me that at the time she was growing up, which was the 60s, 50s, 60s, she said, we didn't have those types of opportunities. Women were mostly secretaries, as she told me, nurses, home health aides, maids, cosmetologists, and teachers. She chose teaching. Yet today, many women are breaking the ceiling in even other industries beyond advertising and marketing. And today, I am thrilled to be joined by a beautiful woman who is remarkable in so many ways for our Wealthy Woman Spotlight. Her name is Nishiki Barnes. This incredible New Orleans native woman has worked her way through Energy's line working cohort, and she's now leading as a distribution designer on the engineering team. That requires not only physical strength, technical knowledge, communication and problem solving skills, but also courage, boldness, and self belief. We're going to talk to her today about her career at Entergy, the work she's doing, and what wellness practices she draws from to show up as a leader at home, at work, and in the community. So, welcome, Nishiki. How are you today?
Hi, Olivia. How are you? I'm awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're our wealthy woman. I'm so happy to have you in our spotlight. I'm happy today. We're going to talk about a different type of pole. Our women work other kind of poles. And I've always thought that requires a different kind of strength, but you got a different type of pole we're going to talk about. So you started as a line worker in the line worker apprenticeship cohort at Entergy. Can you tell us what drove you to that field? That seems to be so interesting to even find that field.
Absolutely. I was a part of Entergy and Delgado. They formed a cohort for apprenticeship program, and I actually prior to that went to obtain my commercial driver's license. I wanted to be a trucker at one point. So I went into a school where they were passing out flyers, and they were like, "Hey, we have this new program that we're putting together." And I looked at the flyer and I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "I can do that." I'm looking at a guy climb a pole, right? I'm looking at a guy climb a pole. And I'm like, "I can do that. I can do that. I want to do that." So I
Were you
went
a
to the
tomboy? I gotta ask you, hold on. I want to interrupt you, but were you a tomboy's little girl? Like, what made you be like, he's climbing the pole, I can climb the pole?
Yes, but my whole thing is I never wanted to be a nurse coming up in high school. They had these groups of girls who did nursing. They had this group of girls who did cosmetology. I just never fit in. I just like I know I don't want to do that. No knock to you guys. I don't want to do hair. I want to do something else. And long and behold, I wanted to climb poles. It was an awesome experience. But before that, I obtained my commercial driver's license. And it kind of forced me to want to go over the road. And I was like, I don't think I want to do over the road driving at this moment. I had small kids. I was like, I want to do that. And then I received the flyer and I was like, hey, I'm about to go try this out. I'm about to go see what this is about. And again, my tomboy nature, I want to experience this. I want to see what it's all about. So I went ahead to the information session, gather all the information, and I was in the first cohort.
Okay. And so at Energy, you spent years locating underground utilities, literally
Yes.
finding what was hidden beneath the surface. In
Yes.
wellness, we always talk about grounding ourselves before we can actually grow. How did that little groundwork and field experience prepare you for the high rise to leadership and design role that you hold now?
Just obtaining the knowledge, what all that's, like you said, underground. And building relationships and making connections with my coworkers and out in the general public, speaking to people, building tough skin because you have to have tough skin to be out in the field. Just obtaining knowledge from all my coworkers who've been there years before me. I didn't mind asking questions. I wanted to soak up all the knowledge that they would give to me. I mean, some people would be gatekeeping, wouldn't tell or whatnot. And I'm asking questions. I wanted to learn all that they had, especially those that been there 17 years doing this job. Sit with me, talk to me. Let's have lunch. Treat them to lunch and sit down and just get all that knowledge that I can get. And I was like, hey, I want to be a distribution designer now. So just all the mapping that I had to deal with and locating, the mapping part, the GSI and software part, all of that, I had to deal with that in locating because of course, I had to look at the mapping to see what was underground. All of that, I just transitioned into my current position as a distribution designer. So I still deal with the mapping parts and all of that too.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do as a distribution designer? For those who are like, for me, like, as a butterfly, I'm like, the distribution designer, underground grids. What is she talking about? What do you do?
I actually design jobs on within a software on the computer. So the lineman that you see out in the field, building it out on site, the poles in the ground, the wires, I build that on the computer first. So that's what I do. And I draw up a sketch so they'll know exactly what they're going out there to build out in the field.
Wow. So now, I mean, with that, I mean, that is a very high profile position. Well, I wouldn't say high profile, but that takes a lot of smarts
It's very
to
important. Yeah.
right. So, as a distribution designer, you're creating these blueprints. You're creating, without you, we could have poles everywhere. They wouldn't be laddering up to where we need to have power. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
They used to have all the old poles. We remove all old utilities, put in new utilities, that are failure things, that things that are failing. I also do that as well.
So, you've got a lot of people, I'm sure, that underestimate you and they question, like, how did she get that job? Can she actually do it? How do you mentally redesign your own inner power and your inner forces to show up that you and deliver with the work that you're doing?
Well, I know that just like them, I'm worthy of, the opportunity. I'm worthy of the position. So I tap into the strength that I've mustered up over the years. Within first I started in street lights. I was met with diversity with that. I was the only woman on the crew. I was actually told like, how did you get here? Hey, I worked my butt off to get here. I went climbing, I did climbing, I did everything that I was told to do. I obtained the knowledge. So what I do is I tap into my inner strength. I pray. And I know my worth. I know that I deserve to be here, and I won't allow anybody else to make me feel like I don't deserve to be here in the position.
And how do your children motivate you, right? Because that sounds like that's requiring a self-belief. What you just said was really powerful to me around your worth. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, I know that this is a non-traditional role. I know there's a lot of guys who are questioning why I should be here, but I believe I should be here and I believe in my own worth. But it seems to me you're also might be doing this for something beyond yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely. My children. I just always wanted my daughters for sure to know that you don't have to scrub up. You don't have to put on scrubs. You don't have to be in the kitchen cooking for anybody. You don't have to do things that society deems as a woman's role. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And I had to be that role model. I always wanted to put my best self forward for my children, all of them. But I did not want my daughters to be forced into a society's, standards of what a woman should be doing or those societal roles that they placed us in. So I just had to break out and show them what it was about and how to do it.
So you are the one, was your mother, your grandmother, or you're the one that's breaking the mold in your family?
One, I am the one. I am the blessing in my family, to be honest. My grandmother was a housewife. I loved it. She instilled in me those things that I need to know. The faith that I need to know. She was that grandmother that brought me to church, my mom as well, but I am the one that, came through and did things differently.
You are the one, not the two. So tell me so tell me more. So I know that you had an experience, a life experience that really kind of led you even deeper down this path. Can you tell us more about that life experience that led you in this work in a deeper way that we see today?
So coming up, high school, junior high school, I met a young man. We had the little puppy love thing. And we're being from New Orleans, he kind of went into the streets. And unfortunately he lost his life. But we have kids together, and me being their only parent left, it pushed me. I didn't allow the pain to fester in me. I allowed the pain to be something that catapulted me into wanting a career for my children. I could have let it taken me under, because again, I had children that I just didn't see myself raising alone, but I had to raise them alone. And I'm like, I am their only parent. I have to do my best. So my children motivated me to be my best self, and that's what has taken me on this journey that I am presenting to you today.
So I have questions. And first of all, our condolences from Freedom at the Mat and all the women who are listening about the loss of your partner. I think that anybody who's had a loss in life, we know that there is a before the loss and the person, and there's an after the loss person. It does change you. But for you, you were able to use that and turn it into motivation to become
Yes.
your best self. What did you do? Like, when I mean, for anybody else who's listening right now who might have lost, whether it's a loved one, a child, a parent, or a spouse, and they just can't imagine moving forward, how were you able to, like, make them moves instead of just staying in the bed? I know you're telling me it's your children, but were there any particular tools you might have used, or was it just prayer? Was it anything you would surround yourself with for women who are listening?
I went back to where it originated from, my grandmother, that prayer, church, exercises. I honestly tapped into health and wellness. I joined a group of ladies who had the same goal, and that was to mentally just de-stress, get healthy. So I joined a group of ladies, and we began to work out at least 3 times a day. Doing cardio, we'll run the track at Sea Park. We'll do bike rides, just motivating one another. So that exercise, I'm telling you, exercise helped me release so much stress, so much pain that I did not know I had within me, because I didn't properly grieve that loss. Being that I was a mother, I had to keep going. I couldn't allow my children to see me just broken down. I just felt like I needed to do something else. And
And can you
that's what I
tell how many No, I don't wanna interrupt you, so I want you to when you said mother, I wanna make sure that people know how many children you're a mother to.
I'm a mother to 5. Yes, I'm a mother to 5 children. Yes, 2 girls and 3 boys. It's been a challenge, but I can honestly say that it has gotten easier. It has gotten a lot easier. My children, I have a 25-year-old, she's been outside the house, she's married. My son, he's 21, he's moved out. So look, I have faith in God. He says, "Hey, you done all you can. They're ready to branch out to adulthood. You have to trust. You have to trust that you've done your best."
Oh, I love this. And I'm pausing to say the 5 children because I know I've not had children. I helped raise my niece and nephew, but I didn't have any children of my own. But I know that there are many people who when they're raising children, they can't see motivating themselves to do anything more than what they're doing, which is just getting the kids to school, getting them fed, and getting homework. So we really honor you, right, as a phenomenally wealthy woman for having had the loss, having said, okay, this is my life before me. I could either be brought down by it and then fall into depression, or I can really kick it up a notch and go break the mold for my entire family and create legacy for my family. So we honor you and just so proud of you, honestly, Nishiki.
I
So
appreciate it.
inspirational. And so, speaking of that, so you are a passionate advocate for women in trade. At Freedom at
Yes.
the Mat, we believe that when one woman grows, that we all grow. How does pouring into this next generation of interns and tradeswomen help you stay motivated and keep your own light bright in an unconventional field?
Pouring into the next generation is what I feel like I am supposed to do. You know what I mean? Because there were people that were pouring into me. Um, they weren't all family. You know what I mean? A lot of people sometimes they think, "Oh, you should have family." A lot of my supporters, a lot of my mentors, all they were not family. So I feel like pouring into the next generation is going to make this world a lot better. I would love for somebody to pour into my kids. So why not do that for someone else's kids? All the knowledge that I have. So I'm open to sharing everything that I've learned with the next generation, especially of young ladies. I want them to also know that, hey, you can do anything you put your mind to, efforts into. You may need mentorship, you may need some type of help, but don't be afraid to ask the questions, be bold about it. Let your voice be heard.
And so do they do that through the Women of Trade organization? How would someone who's like, "Ooh, that sounds really interesting," how would they get mentorship from you?
All they have to do is reach out to me. I normally go to different events. I have my energy card. Let them know, like, just give me a call. If anything you need, let me know. I've been back to Delgado's program. There were recently a woman, she graduated. Just motivating her, just letting her know, hey, this is not gonna be easy. This is going to take, look, it's gonna have you tired some days just climbing. I climbed through the summer months, sweating. And it's something
Shiki?
I've went back just to kinda help the young lady understand, the technique. Alright, but and just to see and to speak on my journey with the new cohorts that are coming in, just to give them a little insight on what to expect. But, I'm not opposed to getting back on the pole. I'm not.
Sometimes you gotta show them I could still pop out. Like, I'll be here all the drafting, but I can still
I can still do my thing. I'm not opposed to doing it at all. No, I love it. But when I did it again, it was new to me. And they had us playing football at the top of the pole. I mean, so we can get accustomed to our equipment, leaning over because sometimes when you're a lineman and you're up in the air, you have to lift up those heavy cross arms and hand them over. And yeah, so just being up there in the summer months playing football and being hanging with the guys, because I was the only woman in the cohort hanging with the guys, but they were really, really helpful. It was a really, really good class.
okay, and so just a few more questions. I have a question for you about dealing with anybody who is adversarial on the job, right? Because we know that you're in a heavily, heavily male dominated field. And so many women, we get tired and worn down from being, you know, in these roles of leadership at work. And then we come home and we're trying to be soft and feminine. I'm gonna come to that in a moment. But do you have an example? And if you do, great. If not, we can move over this question. Do you have any examples of one time you might have had a really terse situation on the job where there was a man who confronted you and was like, she can't do that, or he might have even tried to sabotage you and how you handled that?
So I actually, my very first year, I was doing street lighting. Well, you install those private area lights that shine down on you guys' homes. We were brought into a morning meeting where we were told to connect the lights a different way. So I was sent out on a truck with a guy, and he wanted to do it the original way because it was less time involved. So he done a light, I done a light. Of course, I'm connecting it the way I was instructed to do it, the way that they told us that morning. And he was like, "Hey, what's taking you so long?" I'm like, "Well, I'm doing my job as safe as I can, and hey, time. I'm not worried about the time." So he said to me, "Hey, well, I heard that you only got hired because you are a double minority. You look good on paper." And I said, "Hey, if that's what you heard, that's what you heard." I said, "But at the same time, they cannot take away the year that I've climbed the pole, the time invested, the knowledge that I obtained through this cohort. They can't take away from that. And you can't take away all these lights that I didn't put up with you around this hospital. So I put the work in. So if that's what got me in the door, then good. But they can't take away this work that I've put in all this time with you."
You stood up for yourself. You used your voice and you stood up for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also turned around and reported it, you know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna because I don't want that to happen to another young lady. So, hey, this is what your employee is doing. I want you to know because this can turn bad. So I reported him. I told him, hey, at this moment, I do not feel comfortable with continuing to work with this person. And they got me on a truck with someone else.
Awesome. Thank you. Using your voice and your confidence, you didn't just whimper down. Like you were just like, listen, and then you report it. Thank you for sharing that. I think so many of us struggle with that. And I have one more thing that women struggle with. So many women in power, we struggle with having to be masculine at work and then tapping into our masculine energy to lead at work. And we have to come home and we have to we need to be, because there's this yin and yang with men and women, right? So I know that you have an incredible partner, life partner now. and I know that you're a mother of 5 children, 3 at home, 2 out, but 3 at home. How do you turn some of that masculine energy off, or do you? And then come home and be more of the softer side?
Well, I honestly had to learn with stepping into my current relationship. I still had some masculinity within me to where I always wanted to do things, and he's like, "Hey, hey, hey, I need you to pipe down. I got it." So some parts of me still carry that masculinity because I had been used to doing it at work. I had to put on this at work. But a lot of times I do tap into getting my nails done, pampering myself, um, sitting within myself and reflecting sometimes, doing things I like to do, doing different skills. I would tap into pottery and things like that, just to calm myself, just to, and dress up sometimes with him. He'll have me, let's go try on some heels. Let's go do this and let's go do that. And a lot of times it was him. It was him kind of bringing the feminine out of me because I had to tap into the masculinity for most of my days or most of my work days.
See, I love that. And I'm going to pause there for a moment because I think that you found love being you. And I think for any young woman who feels that she has to put on an exterior of, I've got to be the girl with the heels and the hair and the nails and just that I have to be, perhaps that's not really who you are, but you feel you have to be. You are just who you are. You found this life partner, and he says, no, let me help bring that part out in you. Let me support you in that. I get that you are that lady at work, but let me support that softer side. And I got you at home. So thank you for sharing that. I know I need that. I need somebody who's gonna be like, listen, please help me out. You're good.
Well, I can honestly say it was his masculinity. A lot of who he is, his masculinity softens me when I'm around him. He not only say it, but he show it. You know what I mean? We were walking up the street. Of course, I got to be on the inside of the street. He always opens my door. Just different things that make me say, "Hey, girl, pipe down. Like you don't have to be rough and tough. You got somebody who's gonna take care of you. Like you don't have to be this way all the time."
You are
Yeah.
blessed. You are so blessed.
Yes.
In many ways, in many ways. So, as we round this out, I just want to know, Freedom at the Mat, we're all about women finding their wellness and really connecting with their heart's desires. So, do you have any particular personal wellness practices that you use to balance it all so that you can show up with the focus and precision that you need to at work, but also still be Nishiki?
Absolutely. I always take time for self. Always take time for prayer. Um, just take time away from priorities. I make time to vacation. I make time to just go to places I love, just to have coffee, just the simple things that make me happy. I make sure that I tap into those things to reset me for the next work week. But I always take the time during the weekend or I make sure that I take time for self.
Wonderful. And for any woman listening or watching right now who is interested in going into a non-traditional career, such as the type of pole work that you do, what what would you advise her? What advice would you have for her?
Hey, tap in, ask questions, be bold. Don't allow anyone to deter you. Be strong and speak. Be yourself. Being yourself will get you a lot further than not being yourself.
Ah, the end. The end. Thank you so much, Nishiki Barnes. You are an incredible woman, a phenomenal woman, a wealthy woman, and we're so grateful that you shared your story with us. And for all who are listening or watching, whether it's you, your daughter, your granddaughter, your sister, your niece, anyone who you know of who is looking for a field, a new field to get into, and doesn't mind being bold and courageous, we invite you to follow the footsteps that Miss Nishiki Barnes has set for the next generation. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Ashe.